In this video, we will be multiplying complex numbers. Our steps to multiplying complex numbers, you want to start by simplifying any radicals. Remember to take the i's out first. Then you're going to multiply just like you would polynomials. You want to replace any I squareds with -1 because by definition I squared equals -1, and then combine any like terms. Let's multiply 6i times -7i. We're going to multiply just like polynomials since there aren't any radicals to simplify. We get -42i squared. You want to replace I squared with -1, so that'll be -42 times -1 to give us +42 as our answer. In our next example, we see that we do have some radicals to be simplified. I'm going to start by taking the I out. This becomes I square root of 3. Now, although we can simplify the square root of 27, I would wait until you multiply because it's possible that we'll have to simplify after we multiply. So rather than simplifying twice, let's just simplify once. And then I'll take the I out again, I square root of 3. We're going to distribute. I square root of 3 times the square root of 27 gives us I square root of 81. I square root of 3 times I square root of 3, that gives us I squared on the outside and the square root of 9. Now let's simplify our radicals. 81 is a perfect. This becomes 9i. I'm going to replace I squared with -1, and the square root of 9 is 3. This becomes 9i minus 3. But we want to write our complex number in the form a plus bi. So let's rewrite the real part first and the imaginary part second. We get -3 plus 9i. In our next example, we're going to multiply 6 plus 5i times 3 plus 2i. We have no radicals to simplify, no i's to pull out, so we'll just multiply like we would anytime we have a binomial times a binomial. 6 times 3 gives us 18. 6 times a positive 2i, that's plus 12i. A positive 5i times 3 plus 15i. And a positive 5i times a positive 2i gives us positive 10i squared. Notice that we have like terms here in the middle that we can combine. Also note that we have an I squared, and we're going to want to replace that I squared with -1. So we'll have 18 plus 27i, and now 10 times -1, that becomes -10. And we can combine these like terms. We get a final answer of 8 plus 27i. Please notice that I did write my answer in the form a plus bi. Next, we have a binomial squared. Anytime we have this, we want to write it twice and then multiply it out. Four times 4 gives us 16. 4 times -3 gives us a -12i. -3i times 4, that's another -12i. And -3i times -3i gives us a positive 9i squared. We see that we have like terms in the middle to combine. Also note that we have an I squared that we need to replace with -1. That'll be 16 minus 24i, And then that positive 9 times a negative 1 gives us a minus 9. And we want to combine these like terms as well. We get a final answer of 7 minus 24i.